Welcome back, I'm Wavepunk, and this is day 102 of producing for a year. Today is a cool day because I actually made something, let's get that light out of the frame. I actually made something from scratch entirely, applying a lot of knowledge I have gained over the last 101 days of production. And it felt really good to actually apply that knowledge. We're working on this chiptune piece here, and right now I don't have any kind of like sound effects to help me get between sections, any kind of like whooshes or anything like that, like little Game Boy-y sounds. And so I wanted to make one. There was this one I was kind of hearing in my head, and I actually successfully got pretty close to kind of what I hear in my head. The sound is pretty simple. I'll play it in context here so you can kind of hear how it sounds in the piece. Now that's probably much louder than it'll actually be in context, but I got it loud so you can actually hear it there. Again, by itself, it sounds like this. And I made that entirely from scratch, and I'm very proud of myself. I'll break down what I did here. I did not use an 8-bit magical plugin. I actually used Alchemy here, and I started with an initialized setting. So if you go up here and hit initialized setting, it gives you a literal like blank canvas with the blank settings, which by default has its oscillator, has one oscillator turned on, so it just kind of makes a meh sound with a saw wave. I turned off that oscillator over here and turned on the noise generator just on the white noise setting. Then I went to the ADSR envelope and gave it a long attack and a long release. If I turn off the tremolo and bit crusher effects we have here, the sound sounds like this. Now that sweep you have is the multi-mode filter with the cutoff knob automated by MSEG. I'm not really sure what this is. Like message one. It basically is like an ADSR envelope, but it didn't have a tail, which was the most important thing. Initially, I tried to automate this sweep with a ADSR envelope. The problem with doing that is that it comes back down. I didn't want it to go whoosh. I wanted to go whoosh and there's off into the distance. So instead of doing that, I had this be automated by MSEG1, and when I press it now, it stays at the top when it gets to the end. I don't know why. It stays up there, but we built this little sweep here and then attached that to effects MO1 MM Filt Cutoff, which very intuitively, whenever you touch one of these, it pulls up that in the modulation window here. So I was able just to touch this and then tell it, I want you to automate this knob with this control at this depth, and this orange line is how deep that goes. I'm not going to touch that because I like the sound it's at right now. I guess I could copy and paste this, but yeah, 59.6, okay. If I turn this up and then do it again, and now it goes a lot higher, right? If I turn it down, it goes lower. You can see the orange line there. And I'm just going to type this in here because I like the sound we had before. Now that sound's not particularly chiptune-esque, so we put a bit crusher on it. And this one, just leave it at 8 bits, a little bit of drive, but mostly it's this down sampling at 13 that gives it the kind of Game Boy NES sound. And then we just put a tremolo on it. And the tremolo is just set to 30-second notes, square waved up. It doesn't go all the way out. The depth is only set to 85%, and it's in phase with itself. So that gives us this sound. And instead of going and like hunting for some sound or some sample in the library, it felt really good to like straight up from scratch go pick all of that myself. And it's also really cool to me the way it looks in the goniometer when it gets played here. Well, let's look at this. That's cool, especially because we made it. Yeah, that's just cool. I do want to try real fast adding a reverb to it and seeing what that sounds like. We put some sort of like big space on top of it. What does it sound like in context? And can we just pull the volume down? It's kind of cool. By itself, it stands out really, really obviously, and it doesn't kind of actually really help us go between sections there. So I don't know if I will actually leave it in, and I'm still not actually entirely sold on this section as a whole, like we talked about yesterday, but it did feel really good to build something myself, and I think that was actually a very effective use of a lot of different little things I've learned over the last 100 days. But yep, that's all I had time for today. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow.